pair. And as we know, of course, we associate heart with fire, kidney with water, yes. No surprise. And so, maybe some of you have seen the textbook Dr. Wang wrote. He kind of thinks of the heart and kidney as being like two magnets that are spinning, so they attract and repel at the same time. Okay. So then they have this tendency to get out of sync with each other. Their synchronicity is off. So then you have xin shen bu jiao, so heart and kidney not communicating happens. So then when Dr. Wang is trying to use the tonifying points, heart 7, kidney 3, it's different. You're trying to hopefully get them both strengthened so they reconnect and fire and water balance. So there could be fire excess, water deficiency, but it's more of a balancing between heart and kidney and a synergizing between lung and spleen. Okay. And so that's another reason why a lot of Dr. Wang's point pairs for Xiaoyin, he borrows other channels a little bit more, like lung 5 with kidney 7. We'll talk about a favorite point pair of mine. Or using heart 7 with spleen 6. So combining other channels to bring those in to help them talk to each other, to help them balance each other better. Heart and kidney patterns are trickier. They're harder in a lot of ways because they're more delicate in their balance with each other, in my experience clinically. So that's why we have to think really about 2 source points on the Xiaoyin is different than 2 source points on Taiyin because of the unique relationships of the organs with each other. Yes. So that's why for each one, when we were saying Dr. Wang is choosing point pairs, his information about when he chooses a channel for treatment, he's thinking, what do I want to do with the qi dynamic of the whole system? And that's what I'm hoping that we can all get this weekend, is this idea of system thinking, of thinking of the channels as a moving system and how they relate a little better. Then when you get to your clinics, you can have inspiration and do more unique treatments that aren't even what I'm talking about, because you think, oh, okay, I want, so I want Taiyin and Xiaoyin I want fire to come here so a heat comes out, or combining points creatively is what I want us to get to, not a bunch of protocols that you just use inflexibly.
Now you were answering my second question. It was about understanding of the qi dynamic to find the point pair. So this is what you said now.
This is where you would read, unfortunately, 500 pages and think about understanding what is Xiaoyin, what is Taiyin.
It's the first page of your script.
Yeah. But when it says understanding qi dynamic, what that means is, what is Taiyin?
Yes.
What is Xiaoyin? That's what I mean by that.
Yeah. That's clear.
And so when he says, remember this idea that the channels, Jingluo, in Chinese you can have, we have at least in English and I think German, you have nouns and verbs. The Chinese language has some terms that are noun verbs at the same time. Jingluo, a channel, or Jing is absolutely a noun verb. So in other words, the channels are not just hollow pathways where we put needles. If we talk about them yesterday as being fluid pathways, that's good. But not only are they fluid pathways, they are a process. They are a process happening in the fluid pathways at the same time. So channels are nouns and verbs, too. I don't know how that's related to what we're talking about, but somehow. Or qi dynamic is in the channels. Right, so when Dr. Wang talks about channels then, he's not just talking about the theory of where the channels go, he's talking about what they do. So that's the difference, kind of. So for him, channels are almost equivalent to the modern term physiology, too. What was your thought? Because it's still coming.
Yeah, there's another thought coming.
Oh, another, okay.
It was a kind of metaphor.
You can relate it in German if you'd like.
Then you miss it.
Oh, right, all right, I want to hear it.
Relating the upper downward movement of the spleen. If you want to push something, it's quite natural that we first go the other direction. Although we want to push that way, first we go that way. Yeah. So the same if you want to send the qi down using the lung, it's very natural to also use a kind of lifting movement, because then it's like in the Tai Chi. Then there's more power in the downward movement.
Yeah, and that actually relates to the head palpation I was talking about yesterday. Again, this is not my area of expertise, but the thing I was talking about when you very lightly hold the head and you're kind of noticing what they call the cranial rhythm, or you feel this kind of expanding and contracting feeling in the back of the patient's head. And remember, one simple way to use this is after you put the needles in and the person's a little bit startled by the acupuncture, that's when I go there and just settle the system and notice what's happening. And when I'm noticing what's happening, often it feels like one part of the head is kind of more relaxed and the other side is not. And related to what you just said, if I ever do anything that even modifies that, what I do is I notice the healthy movement. Oh, this side is more healthy. And I actually imagine that I'm increasing the healthy movement, and then often the side that's not moving follows. I can feel that in my hands. And that's similar to the idea of using healthy channels to treat disease. Just so much of acupuncture is finding where the disease is and going right at it and attacking it. The other idea would be to find where the disease is and then notice health and expand health so the disease moves, which all these concepts are related. And needling in the empty space is related to that too. All these are related within Chinese physiological concepts of trying to go to emptiness, not at death towards life, you could say.
That was the other thought I had.
Yeah.
You know, in modern psychotherapy especially, there's a huge tendency towards resource-based approaches. That's not so much the problem-based approaches that used to be used in decades before. And it's, for me, in Chinese medicine, if you just attack the pathogen, it's a very pathogen-focused approach. Another resource-based approach. It's for me interesting to see that even in acupuncture, you can use acupuncture as a resource-based method.
You mean like positive psychology?
No, even more resources. Always check where is the resource.
Where is health?
Which is different from seeing the positive side.
Okay.
Resource can be something completely off the topic.
Ah.
Positive side is what is positive in here. Resource is simply what does still work.
Yeah.
And then make a connection to what does not work.
That sounds similar to, yeah, what
What
we're
does the
saying.
Wang is doing.
Yeah.
This is what system does still work, and then connect it to a system not working.
Yeah, so tying is, yeah. So you guys are seeing the themes repeating in different ways. Does anyone have any other questions about yesterday or about what we're talking about? Yeah?